Welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we will be making the Lauren Tote by Lauren Mormino. I will link the pattern down below, and it is a great medium-sized tote. And I have added the overlay, so I will show you how to do the overlay. And I made longer handles, so I did go with 28-inch long handles. I also added some strap connectors that are from another pattern by the same designer. And they're tough to see here because they are the same color as the overlay, but they are very pretty in person. So for this bag, there is one main zipper. Inside, there is an interior zip pocket, and then I did also add two interior slip pockets. I know those are tough to see because it's black, but I will show you how I added those slip pockets. They're not part of the pattern, but they're super easy to add. And then we did add some purse feet. Everybody loves good purse feet. I hope this tutorial is helpful. If it is, please give it a like. Let's get started. I'll be starting by making my straps today since I just put a fresh bobbin in. I know I'll get nice straps and I won't run out of bobbin. So I will start with that. I'm going to be making 3/4 inch wide straps. So I've cut my straps to 3 inches wide by 28 inches, I think. 28 inches long. I like my straps to be a little longer on this bag. Normally I use 24-inch long straps. So then I have a marking down the center of each one. And I've placed a piece of double-sided tape, so I'll remove the paper from there. And then fold in each raw edge just before the line, so there'll be a slight gap between the two when I'm making the fold on both of them. You'll be able to see the line, basically. Okay, so this is what you should have. You should be able to see the line that you drew down the center. Now you'll be taking it and folding it in half one more time. So there should be no raw edges except for the top and bottom short piece. And then I'm going to sew at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance from each edge. And that's one strap, so I'll repeat that for the other one. Okay, once you have both of your straps completed, you can set those to the side. We'll be working with them again in a little bit. The next thing I will be working on is my exterior main panels. So I have my 2 main panels cut from the pattern piece. It's this awesome leopard print. know it's probably a little hard to see on camera, but it is super cool. Anyways, and then I'm also going to be adding an overlay. This is not part of the pattern, but it is something that I did see in one of the designer's tutorials at one point. So I'm going to be doing it the same way that she did it. And I will include the dimensions for the cutout here. It is 4 inches wide by 2 1/4. So this is 2 1/4 inches and this is 4 inches. And then this is the whole length of the pattern piece. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be laying it over this, and that'll be the front panel as well as the back panel. So let's get started on that. So all I have here is a buttload of double-sided tape. I'm gonna take the paper off of all of it, and then I'm gonna center my overlay, and I will top stitch all the way around the overlay just to hold everything in nicely. I'm going to start by lining the centers up and then just kind of work my way out from there. Okay, so now I'm just going to sew this down. I will sew all the way across the edge, the top edge, but mainly I'm worried about right here all the way along the raw edge. So let's get that sewn down. Okay, that's what you should have. So now I'm going to repeat that for my other panel with the other overlay. This piece is all set. This one's going to be my front, and this one's going to be my back. This piece has just like a printing blemish, but nothing that anybody else is going to notice except for me. So I'll just use that as my back piece. So next I'm going to work on my connectors. And I am using connectors that are off of a different bag from the same designer. I will link the connectors, or I'll link the pattern that those connectors are used in the description down below. Okay, so I'm using these connectors. They are from a different pattern, but same designer. So I will go ahead and link those below. What I have is I've applied some Decovil Light on the back outside of the seam allowance, and I've made sure that this is about 5/8 inch wide for Decoville. And then you fold the sides in, and then I placed a piece of double-sided tape that's about 1 inch long right here. So the first thing I'm going to do now is I will go ahead and top stitch just down this side as well as this side. I'm not going to go over, just one row here as well as here. Once you have them all top stitched, this is what you should have. So now I have a line on the back that's drawn about 1.5 inches down. I will remove my double-sided tape and line up my rectangle ring right on top of that line and fold everything over. So this should be the front and this is the back. And now I'm going to place some more double-sided tape over all of this so that I can apply it to the bag, just like that. So I'm going to do that with all 4 of them. So now I'm going to install the strap connectors. They should be looking like this right now. You should have your rectangle ring on them. Okay, so in the pattern it says to place it 1.5 inches down and 5 inches from the side. So I will do that now. Okay, so that's what you should have, and now I will stitch these down around the connector. I'm also just going to make sure that the distance between the two is symmetrical and the same on my front and my back piece. So now I will stitch these all down. So that's what you should have. I will set some rivets about in the center of these connectors. I'll do that all at the end on all 4 of them. So now I'm going to repeat that for the other side. This is my front and back main panel. Now is the time to decide which one you want to be your front, which one you want to be your back. I am going to use this one as my back because it just has a slight printing blemish on it, so I'd rather put that in the back. And then I will install my bag tag. I'm going to do mine centered right at the bottom of the overlay. You don't want to fold your tags if they are printed on. I am folding the tag, but I'm pinching it on the non-printed part. I don't want my printing to crack. that is my bag tag. It's beautiful. I will link the shop that made these. This is a Heartwood and Hide tag. So this is cork, and I don't know how she prints them, to be totally honest. They're beautiful though. Okay, now I'm going to work on my main zipper closure. So you'll have a 16-inch zipper, and I'll put my zipper pull on. And then I have two zipper tabs. They are an inch wide and then by an inch and a half, but I'll trim the inch and a half part down to whatever I need. So I will do these zipper tabs just like I do all my other zipper tabs. I have a line drawn down the center and some double-sided tape, so I'll remove the paper on the double-sided tape from one side of one zipper tab, place that down, and mount my zipper first. I always forget to mount my zipper first. Just in case, you never know. Okay, so now I lay my zipper down and meet that line that I've drawn there. Just like that. Then I'll take the tape off, the paper off of the tape for the other side, fold it over, and then stitch 1/8 of an inch away from this raw edge. And I'll do that for both sides. So I'm gonna stitch mine together. So I'll put the other zipper tab on real quick. Once you have that, then I will just trim down the sides and any threads if they aren't getting caught in that side trimming. Now that my zipper pull, or my main zipper is ready, I am, next I will put some double-sided tape on my main panels. So I'm just marking 1 inch in from the sides on both front main panels, and then I will place some 1/8 inch wide double-sided tape within those marks. Just make sure if you're making marks, it stays within your seam allowance so it's not seen at the end. We'll put all this aside and we will start working on the lining. So for my lining, I have 2 main pieces. These are all just waterproof canvas. I have 2 main body pieces, 2 zipper pockets, and then I am adding a slip pocket. I cut this to 8 inches tall by the width of my ruler, so it's 8 by 24. But then I will just trim off the extra. So I will start there. I drew a line at 1 inch down and then placed a piece of double-sided tape. I'm going to fold my raw edge up to that line and then sew 1/8 of an inch away, just so my slip pocket doesn't have a raw edge on it. I will top stitch 1/8 of an inch away from the edge that I just folded. Take one of my main body panels, and I know it's way oversized, but that's okay. And about 1/4 of an inch up from the square cutouts, I will place this. And I'm going to top stitch for now just down the sides and the bottom. trim off all the extra, or I could have not been lazy and cut it to the right size. It happens. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I will fold this top part up and just crease it to match with where the cutout is going to be for boxing the bottom. And then sew right along that crease, because we want to close that part up. We don't want a pocket in the crease and corner of the bag. And then I'll close it up across the top as well, just so nothing falls in there. And then I'll do the same thing to the other side. So everything should be closed up on the sides. All you should have right now is one big main open slip pocket. I am going to split mine in two. You don't have to. I just like to. So I will match up the center snip marks that I made at the top and the bottom of my main body. And then just draw a line down the center with my chalk and sew along that line. And I like to give a little bit of an extra back stitch at the top, just to reinforce that part right there. And that is my slip pocket. So now I have two slip pockets on the inside, and I will move over to my zipper pocket for the other piece, and we're almost done. So for my zipper pocket on the back here, what I will do is first I'll find my centers, and 1 inch down, I'm going to draw a box that is 7 inches wide by 1/2 inch tall. And then while I'm here, I'm also going to draw in the line down the center of it, so about 1/4 inch up, and just make a little carrot in from each corner to the center line. So that's what you should have. Then I'm going to place this 2.5 inches down from the top of my lining piece, centered. And then you'll stitch all the way around the box here. Now you're going to open this up by cutting down the line that you drew, and also you'll cut on the little triangle pieces that you drew towards the center line, making sure not to cut your stitching that you just did. Then you're going to turn your material through your hole and press it well if you're using something that can be pressed. I don't have good luck pressing pockets. I usually end up melting a piece. So I just use this creasing tool. I'll link it in the description below. It's usually enough. Flip everything through. And then crease it one more time now that it's folded through. Once you have your zipper pocket folded in, this is what you should have, and we're going to put our zipper pull on our other zipper now. Once you have your pull on, I'm going to put some 1/8 inch wide double-sided tape along my zipper. I won't be going the whole way with it because my zipper is too long. And then I will be laying my zipper down on the table, face up, with my zipper pull closing towards the left. I am going to have my pull all the way at the very end. And what I'll do is I'll stitch most of it on, and then right before I stitch over the coils, I'll pull the zipper pull in at the end, just so I get as good a finished zipper as I can. So I'm gonna line this up now. Once I am almost back to the other end of the zipper, now is where I'm going to lift up my presser foot, and I'm going to poke through my zipper pull and bring it all the way over to the other side of the zipper. And then I will finish closing up or attaching the zipper. You can trim off the extra zipper now, and then I will melt the ends real quickly. And then I will attach my other zipper panel pocket, and I'm only going to sew around these 3 sides here, leaving the bottom open. We're not going to turn the bag through the bottom, but we are going to turn it through this bottom, and then I'm going to reach in and complete the bottom of the bag from that side. I'll show you. And then when I'm closing up the zipper pocket, since I'm not sewing along the edge, I grab both pieces. I'm not sewing along the bottom edge. I'll grab both pieces and I'll just fold it up about 1/4 of an inch and sew over it just like that. And this is what you should have. And that will make it easier when we're turning it and stitching it closed. I'll do is I will just pull and they will pop open, and it'll already kind of be pre-folded. And I'm gonna just clip it shut for now, just so it's a little easier when I go to sew it closed at the end. You could always press this just to keep the crease, but I find clipping is plenty for my waterproof canvas. Now both of your lining pieces are done, so I'll grab all 4 of my main pieces, 2 exterior, 2 linings. I like to start with the front panel, so I will keep that one out, and my main zipper. Find the center for your zipper. If you're making marks or snipping, make sure it's within your seam allowance. This pattern does call for a 1/4 inch seam allowance to install the zipper. I personally like how the 3/8 looks better, even though it means I need to change to my zipper foot. So I'll do 3/8. So you'll remove the paper backing off of the double-sided tape, and I want my zipper to be like this when it's closed, so closing to the left. So I will lay it wrong side up, so right sides together, and match up my center on my zipper with my center on the main panel. And I'll base that down at 1/8 of an inch. And then quickly I'm going to place 1/8 inch wide tape across the entire length of both of my lining pieces to attach the zipper easier. Make sure you have your center snipped on your lining as well. I'm going to change to my zipper foot now because I do want to do that 3/8 inch seam allowance on my zipper. So now you'll want to decide which one of your lining panels you want to be against the front of your bag when you open it. Personally, I like my slip pocket to be there, so that's the one that I'm going to use, but it really is just personal preference. So I'm going to remove the paper backing off of the tape, and then match up your centers. And now I will sew at 3/8 inch seam allowance, making sure to move my zipper pull out of the way as needed. Just making sure to feel for your zipper while you're sewing so that your zipper is staying flat and not getting wavy. Although it's less likely to be wavy with a 3/8 inch seam allowance here. So now I'm going to open it all up, press everything away from the lining. So you should have your seam allowance pointing towards your exterior, and then I'm going to keep my lining out of the top stitching. And I will top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch away. And then just press your lining down away from the zipper. And this is where we're at. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this to the side and start working on my base. I'll install my purse feet quickly. So I have 12mm rivet purse feet. These are from CamSnap. I can link them in the description. So I need 5. I'll start by punching a hole in each one of these markings that I made. Then I will put the rivet in through the back and place the foot on the front. Do that for all 5. Then I have my purse feet die, 12mm purse feet die. I'm going to change those out quickly. And you will set it with the rivet piece facing up, and the purse foot will fit nicely right into this die. So I'm going to press it just like that. Now we're going to line everything up. Don't mind my kid honking the horn out there. And my leopard print black material is pretty slippery, so I am going to use just an 1/8 inch wide piece of double-sided tape so that my base doesn't slip while I'm doing this. Match up your center marks for the base and your front panel, and you're going to sew this together with a 1/2 inch seam allowance here. I am going to give mine a second line of stitching just because I want to make sure there's no pulling, that you can't see my stitching from the front. And it is the base of the bag, so it's going to get a lot of wear and tear. Once you have your second row of stitching done, if you want to do that, then you're going to go ahead and flip out the base, and your seam allowance should be under the base, not under the front panel. So we're going to top stitch through the base and the seam allowance that you just created, 1/8 of an inch away. So this is what you should have right now. Then you're going to grab your other main panel. So this one's going to be my back. And you're going to match up the bottom with the base, and you're going to sew that at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, just like we did for the front. And then you're going to top stitch along the base again with the seam allowance facing towards the base of the bag again. Once you have the base top stitched down, right now you should have this, so one big long piece. What I'm going to do next is take the paper backing off of the double-sided tape on the back panel and then line up my zipper. Also making sure that my front panel matches up with my back panel on the sides. I'll show you. Before you baste it down, just make sure that your edges are meeting up over here, that nothing's wonky. So this is your front panel is at the same position as your back panel, and mine is. Now that you have that basted down, you can grab your last piece for the lining, which for me is the one with my zipper pocket on it. Open your zipper. I mean, it won't be the end of the world if you don't, but... And you're going to line up your lining pocket with your lining panel with your exterior. And then for me, I'm going to sew it down with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. If you are following the pattern, then you'll want to go ahead and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to move my zipper out of the way. I feel it under here. So once you have this stitched on, I'm going to pull it away from your back panel. And this one, top stitching the back part can get a little tricky. Just do the best that you can. I'm going to take my zipper foot off. Actually, I really don't like my zipper foot at all. Use it as little as possible. So to top stitch, we're going to be kind of working between the tube here, making sure your seam allowance is pointing down towards the main panel and your lining is not being sewn through. All right, once you have the top stitching done, now all we need to do is go around and close everything up. So I will be matching, I'll start with my exterior. I want to make sure I'm matching my overlay and my zipper piece. And then I will do the same with my lining. Now what I will be doing is I'm going to sew down one side at a time. So I'm going to sew all the way down this side, and it will be at a 1/4 inch seam allowance on the exterior. And then once I get to the interior, I'm going to increase it to 3/8 of an inch. And then I'll repeat that for the other side as well. All right, and now I will trim the seam allowance down to a 1/4 inch. Give or take. I'm not going to trim it right here though, where I will be butterflying it, so I will start trimming about 1 inch or so up. And same thing for the bottom. I'm not going to trim the bottom inch or so. We're going to go back to the bottom. Butterfly your side panels. Meet that seam up with your center mark on the base. And sew that in place at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Just like everything else with the exterior, I am going to give it 2 rows of stitching and trim everything, trim all your threads, and you can also trim this seam down to a 1/4 inch. Then repeat for the other side. Once you have the bottom boxed, you can go ahead and turn everything out. You should have a nice big turning hole down here in the bottom of your lining. Make sure you poke out the corners well. As well as your zipper. You want to make sure you get the zipper tabs poked out well. Once you turn everything out, this is where you should be. Don't make the same mistake I did or do and get frustrated. When you're reading the pattern, make sure that you're cutting one panel for your lining that is the same size as all of your exteriors, and one panel at the full size. So you should have one that's way longer than the other. One that has a small notch in it, and then one that has a quite large notch in it. I did not do that. Things were not meeting up. I've made this bag 100 times and I know better. So now that we are in the right spot, I'm going to stuff all of this back in through the zipper pocket and sew up my bottom at a 5/8 inch seam allowance. Once you've got that sewn for the bottom, you're going to box the corners for the bottom. It will look a little bit different than normal boxing. You won't be nesting the seams, you'll just be sewing across the straight edge here at 5/8 inch seam allowance. Once you have all that done, you can go ahead and stuff your lining back in through the pocket. Before I close up my zipper pocket, I like to make sure everything fits nicely. This is what it should be looking like inside. I know that's super hard to see because it's black. I gotta stop using black interior, So if you're happy with that, go ahead and pull back out your zipper pocket lining. Fold your raw edges in, clip if you need to. stuff your pocket back in. Just poking out the corners for my interior zipper pocket so it doesn't end up getting bulky. All that's left now is to add the straps on and just show you the zipper. This is with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. I like it better because on this bag in particular with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, the zipper tends to stick up a little more and get a little wavy, and I just don't like that look. So if you like 1/4 inch, then that's great, but just so you are aware, this is what 3/8 inch leaves you with at the end. I think it just looks a little cleaner. So we'll go ahead and we'll install our handles now. And because we didn't top stitch through our lining, I do like to just kind of roll it down and really make sure that it's going to stay out of the way of my zipper. And it does. There's not really a need to top stitch through the lining. All right, let's install the handles. We're almost there. So decide which side you want to be the outside of your handles, which side you want to be the inside. So once you have decided which side of the handles you want to be facing up or down, you can then start to install them. I do like to make sure that I am installing them the same way. So if my folded edge is facing out on one bag handle, I want it to be facing out on the other. If it's facing in, then I want it to be facing in on the other one. And that might mean that you just need to flip it around or whatever. But I like to make sure that they're installed the same way, facing the same direction. I think it gives it a cleaner look at the end. Once you decide the tops and bottoms of your handles, then you can put on your strap ends if you'll be using any, which I will be. I love how they finish the bag off. And each one of them gets 2 teeny tiny screws. So you should be using a total of 8 screws when you're doing this. So the side with the screws will go on the bottom. So you'll just slide your strap in and then insert your screws. Be very gentle with these screws. They strip very easily. And you don't need to go any further than, any deeper than if you rub your finger along, you're no longer feeling the screw. So once you're at that point, you can stop. So that's what it will look like. And then I will go ahead and repeat that for all 3 other ends. Okay, once you have those installed on the ends, then you can come back to your bag. I like to have my bag handles installed so that my folded edge is facing the outside. So it's going to be along here. So this is how it will look in the end. The folds will be facing each other on the bag. So I'm going to set these with rivets. I'm not going to sew them on. So quickly I'm going to make some marks for where I'll place my rivets and then punch my holes. So to install the handles, I'm just going to be taking it and placing it in wrong side out and then folding it over. And I'm going to snap my rivet in place. Make sure that your handle does not get twisted. Do the same thing with the other side. And that's one handle on. And then just, if it matters to you, make sure that your handles are facing in the same direction when you put the next one on. And when your handle lays down, you should see the pretty side of your handle end. Okay, before I set my rivets, I'll just double check, make sure my handles look good. Everything looks great, nothing is twisted, because once you set the rivets, they're very difficult to get out. Although there is a super cool tool that I will show you guys at some point to help remove rivets. But this is it. I'm going to set my rivets and then our bag is done. Okay, your bag is done. I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe for more.